And yet another salivary gland with a little bit of a capsule here with some fibrous tissue septae creating these lobules. You could see that some of the ducts are within the septae, like here and here. So this would clearly be an interlobular duct, whereas the majority of these other ducts are within lobules, so they would be called interlobular. Notice that in deference or in contrast to the parotid gland, which was 100% serous, and the submandibular gland, which was 50 or 60% serous, this particular gland is almost all mucinous. So this, by definition, then makes it a sublingual gland. And like the other ones, it does have a few serous elements or acini left, but most of them are serous. You could see a lot of intralobular ducts with abundant cytoplasm, and perhaps with some striations on it or striated ducts. But I think I could see here also a couple of ducts. Oh, and I hope I could find them this time. A couple of ducts which look like they really don't have much cytoplasm at all, like perhaps here. And I think this could very easily qualify as an intercalated duct, and maybe down here too. It doesn't look like it has much cytoplasm at all, but clearly, once again, the majority of these ducts, which have abundant red cytoplasm, are intercalated ducts. Here's intercalated, here's intercalated. Here's striated, here's striated. This could be intercalated, this could be intercalated. Here's a couple of striateds, and all the rest of these are chiefly mucinous acini. And remember, in a mucinous or mucus acini, which is predominantly mucus for lubrication, the nuclei are displaced and flattened at the base, and the cytoplasm is chiefly very, very watery. In a serous type acinus, and it's going to be hard to find serous acini in a sublingual gland, but in a serous acinus, like perhaps here, the nuclei are not displaced towards the base, and the cytoplasm is more pinkish and more stainable and less watery. So once again, your classical salivary gland, predominantly mucus, which makes it sublingual. All of these are intralobular ducts. We try to differentiate between the striated intralobular ducts and the intercalated intralobular ducts, but it really doesn't matter much clinically. But we can also see some interlobular ducts or larger ducts, which are clearly within the fibrous tissue septae between the lobules. And if you just look, you could probably figure out what kind of epithelium it is. It looks like it's columnar. It looks like it's non-ciliated. It looks like it's non-stratified. So, like most of the ducts of the exocrine glands in general, it is a simple columnar epithelium. And up here we actually have a little bit of secretion, don't we? Some of the mucin that these acini were pouring out. And you know this is an arterial blood vessel. And you know this is simply connective tissue over here. And if you wanted to be really smart, I could probably tell you this has all the classical features of a plasma cell, in that the nucleus is round, it's off to the side, it has peripherally dispersed chromatin, and it has a little white area in the open area of the cytoplasm. These are the 4 or 5 classical features of a plasma cell. And even if you don't see all 4 or 5, even if you see 2 or 3, you might guess that it probably is anyway. And don't forget, you're allowed to see a lot of lymphoid tissue within salivary glands. And sometimes, like we saw in the parotid, even an entire lymph node. So let's see if we could find groups of lymphoid cells in here, or whether we're not going to get lucky. Well, there aren't too many. I'm sure that they're individually dispersed here and there, but I don't see any primary or secondary follicles. And this ends our series on salivary glands, so I thank you very much.